Hello, everyone. Welcome to Sweet Taboos. This is Ayan Watson, your host.
And I'm Tiffany, your co-host.
Yes, welcome to Sweet Taboos.
Yeah.
This is a safe space where we can gather to speak of sensitive topics that society avoids addressing while being respectful, transparent, peaceful, open, and having integrity.
Yes, ma'am.
So today we're going to finish up the racism series. This is part 3. It's been a journey. Miss Tiffany, tell us how the podcasting experience has been so far for you, and also this topic specifically. How has that been for you?
Podcasting has been really good so far. I would say it gave me that opportunity to speak about just things I normally wouldn't have those conversations about. Just uneasy conversations.
They're very uneasy and uncomfortable, but I'm glad we've cultivated this space where we can do that because we need to have those in order to grow and possibly heal. And just, there's so much to explore. So I love that.
It's plenty to explore. Racism has been a topic for as long as I can remember as a child. And we're still having some of those racial conversations. And we need to get to a space where we can free ourselves from that.
Yeah.
Because
I'm over it. Can we just stop? I'm over it.
It keeps us in a box.
Yes.
We need to get past that. And so I've lived quite some time. And like I said, we are in 2024 and we're still having conversations about racism and racial injustice. So I'm looking forward to closing out this chapter with Sweet Taboos, and let's see what we can move on to next.
Okay, so our biggest goal as Sweet Taboos is to inform, educate, elevate, and cultivate awareness. So tune in for our next series, which is going to be the effects of social media. I'm so excited for that. And that's one of the most pressing topics because this is happening real time and things are just moving so fast. So we just want to address that. But we're going to stay in the racism conversation part 3. We have been talking about all the evil people and tactics of the past.
Yeah.
And we want to give grace and forgiveness. I think that's really, really big these days. Without forgiveness, we can't grow.
No, we can't.
That keeps us in shackles, and we want to completely eliminate that. We know about the KKK. And there is a video, an interview on the white underbelly. I don't know if it's a podcast or just like an interviewing show. But anyway, it's in the description. Go watch it. It gives us a really, really specific and different perspective about a KKK member. What were your thoughts on that?
I will actually say I didn't know what to expect when I watched it.
Right.
Based on when I was growing up, at that particular time they were still showing up, marching and causing a scene. But I watched this and he gave clarity on his thought.
There was a lot of clarity in that video.
Yeah, he was basically stating that, he wasn't a racist, but he was a separatist. And I was like, okay. He was still talking from a place of segregation. He believed our races shouldn't be crossing. We can know one another, but I guess crossing and relationships and things like that, he really didn't believe it. And he also spoke about, things that wasn't right. He just felt like they were the core of putting a stop to things that has happened in history that it wasn't right, and they would put a stop to it, or they would step up and say, this is not right. But I didn't find too much harmful from what he said. I mean, it was still his point of view.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, I just feel like we should still be able to move past that point of separation.
And that's a theme that has revealed itself multiple times at the Greenwood Rising Museum. That's the biggest call to action for you guys today. If you are in Tulsa, definitely visit the Greenwood Rising Museum. There is full of history. It's very rich, very rich. You have to go. As far as the KKK interview, I was playing The Sims 4 at the time, and it was kind of just something I was listening to while I was into another activity.
Okay.
And I was just very intrigued by what he was saying. And again, his point of view. He is a separatist, and there are people of all cultures and races who have that similar mindset, just want to be alone with their kind and just that whole thing. But it was still eye-opening because for you to even, and I kind of think he's the black sheep of the group, for you to come out into the public and speak about this. In the Greenwood Rising Museum, I found that some of the KKK members were able to put a guise over their real identity.
Okay.
So that is why they were never caught up in their acts. And they were usually people of power, not just as an example, the governor maybe, or the mayor. They were in these positions of power. So it was just really, really interesting to see one come out and be extremely honest.
Yeah.
I think he was transparent too. And that's why I really appreciated him and his opinion.
Yeah, I did as well. I mean, one key thing he spoke about was love doesn't see color. You won't believe I'm saying this, but love doesn't see color. And I'm glad that he came out and he spoke about that, because at the end of the day, love does not see color.
No.
And it shouldn't separate us. It should bring us closer together and basically break some of those barriers. And he had some really good point of views. And I have to.
It was
give him
very
more respect
eye-opening.
for that. Most definitely.
So, Miss Tiffany, what has been most helpful for you throughout this process?
Well, the first part, I spoke about, just how we were raised up, how we grew up, a lot of things we did not know. I also spoke about we can't change anything if we're not aware of it.
Right.
And so I think over both of the parts that we have spoken about is mainly accountability. Healing. Healing is number one.
Yes.
And so before I jump into the healing part, I do think we need to get some context on where the trauma begins, because trauma is something that we don't talk about. Healing is a part of trauma. And so
that is the byproduct. Trauma, healing.
Yeah.
And that's a journey itself. And I mean, I'd say I'm actively healing, because I'm ready, I'm hungry to bloom into the person God made me to be.
Yeah.
Remove those anchors because they're so heavy and they're just weighing us down. They're not allowing us to grow. So definitely healing is not easy whatsoever.
No.
But once you finally get to that space where you're done carrying all that weight, you're going to let it go, period. If you see the damage it's doing to you and your relationships and your progress in life, because going back to accountability, you cannot hold anybody else accountable for how your life turns out.
Correct.
You get to the end of your road and you're not pleased with the things you've done or where you are, that's completely up to you. Not to say that there aren't challenges and people who won't be there to get in your way, but still, it's your life, you're in control, and you are accountable for your life.
Yes.
And I'm getting ready to talk about this in my presentation next month at the Young Parent Advisory Board meeting. I'm going to be facilitating Woman Code. So that's a really, really big part, having accountability for yourself and for your life.
Yeah. Just breaking barriers as well, accountability. Because in our race, we don't seem to have a lot of accountability. We don't. And,
True.
This is what this series was not about, not pointing the finger and things like that, but basically pointing out areas that we should work at. I mean, it's not going to solve a problem in one day, but we need to continue to work at it. And so, even in the work field, we still have these moments where I still feel like, hey, this opportunity should be mine. But at the same time, it's a mentality. And so everything.
Yes. Can we talk about that?
Yeah.
A victim mindset.
Yes. Yes, that's a huge one. And I think that has stemmed from way back.
Do you have a victim mindset? I'm talking to you, viewer, listener.
Mhm.
Do you, at this moment, have a victim mindset? And what does that mean, Miss Tiffany? What does that look like?
I would say just feeling like, hey, everything is against you. It feels like you're not privileged to receive other things that other people are, or basically just living inside of a box, thinking that you're
Yes.
less than,
Yes.
and thinking that, hey,
Yeah.
they're right, you're wrong.
Mhm.
Just being, it can spiral out of control. It can go down a rabbit hole when you take on the victim mentality, but it causes damage in your own personal life.
Oh, yeah. That's what I was saying, tying all the accountability and things together in the healing. If you are in a certain space, you cannot show up as the best person for yourself and for the people closest to you.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why healing is quintessential to growth and to the lives that we actually want to live. We just have to do the work. And the work is not easy.
No.
However, it is possible and you can do it.
So what is your on a victim mentality?
I mean, it's exactly what you said, because it's this world you're in where you're like, oh, nothing's going right. You're just miserable.
Mm-hmm.
You're miserable and you're alone. And that is not how life is supposed to be. There's people around us for certain reasons and things like that. And I think the victim mentality is instilled in some of us from a young age. And when that is kind of seamlessly embedded into who you are, you grow up and come into adulthood, you're still operating that way.
Mm-hmm.
When it's very different from childhood to teenage to adolescent and then like your full adulthood. When you get into adulthood, you can't be out here acting like the victim if you're not really the victim. And that it just makes you look a certain way. And, you're going to miss opportunities because of how your
perception is.
Yes, your perception. And this is with anything. Everybody's been taught and raised a certain way. And I think it does come out in our adulthood. But as far as the victim mindset, we have to, one, become aware. Oh, I feel like the world's against me. I feel like nobody likes me or everybody's out to get me. Not to say that this world isn't dangerous and not everybody has good intentions for you. That's not what we're saying. However, we are saying we got to let go, get out of our own way. That's what it is.
Yeah.
And unlearn certain things that aren't helpful for us and the people around us. So it's just accountability, awareness. And that is what we want to do. We want to guide you guys to a place that is healthy. You have to do the work, but we're here to bring healthy change.
Yeah. Awareness is key to anything.
Yes.
And I think that's what we have talked about throughout this series is awareness, being aware of each time something takes place. You need to know how it's affecting you.
That, and just to go back a little bit, we talked about some of the same events reoccurring around the country.
Mm-hmm.
It's like no one learned anything, or not to say that no one made any efforts to prevent or grow from those spaces, but it just seems like this infinite cycle. If you look at the timeline of history, American history, it's kind of like repetitive. It's very repetitive.
Mm-hmm.
But we just want to promote humanity, and we want to alleviate, completely get rid of the separateness that's in our society that doesn't allow us to come together. We are more alike than we are different.
Yes.
Point blank. Bottom line. We feel the same. We wake up the same. crust it out? You know, like, can we just rise to the top? Can we build the society that supports everyone?
And not just one group.
Right, just one group. There's no superior group. Can we stop it?
Yeah, we do need to stop that. But
and that's taboo too.
Yeah, it is taboo. But we have to be accountable. We both are African American women, and like I said, we live in our own community, but we see some things and we acknowledge them for what they are. A lot of things have been taught, and a lot of things that doesn't serve us now. And so we have to go back to this core root of how everything has basically transpired. And let's take a dive into slavery. We need to go that route because, like I said, we don't talk about that because we have moved past that phase in life. But some of the things that happened, the trauma that was inflicted during that particular time, basically has been passed down through generations. And the way our
trauma,
our mentality, the way that we respond to things, and just the victim mentality. I mean, this is why we still carry, because even in our households, you know, the way that we are brought up, the way we're taught, you know, a lot of that, it still stems back to that moment in time. And we have to get to that space on taking ownership of our own life and how we choose to lead in life. Right. And so slavery is a core topic to talk about. We don't have to live there, as you mentioned. We don't have to live there, but we need to shine light on the beginning phases of it and how it affected us throughout history.
Right. And that was something that came up throughout the series. We would miss a big portion. We're always missing the middle piece of a story. We know where it started and kind of how it ended or the aftermath, but we are missing the core, the meat of it. And this is, again, why I highly, highly recommend you visit the Greenwood Rising Museum or just look around. There's so much history, rich history around us. You know, we wouldn't be where we are today if people from all over, from different walks of life, have not trailblazed.
Yes.
So at the Greenwood Museum, they have you feel it. When I got to that slavery portion of the museum, it was heavy, it was dark. They had this black man, he was kind of turned around and you saw his back had been whipped like Jesus.
Yes.
And they had the whip, and they even they presented the balls and chains that were meant to prevent escape. And the whip was basically to reestablish their dominance over the black slaves.
Okay.
And that's psychological. And that is why a lot of the violence and discipline, they would use one as the example. And then the other's we don't have a choice but to follow line. And it's just difficult. It's very uncomfortable. And in school, I did go to school here. As far as the slavery conversation went, it wasn't a conversation. It was just kind of presentation. Some people have opinions that we should completely get away from and just disconnect that portion of history, completely take it out of the curriculum. So I think we should see all of history.
Yeah.
We should see all of history, because if we're not aware of what happened before, we are more likely to make those same mistakes. And that's what history is. It's a guide for what not to do, or, just a reference. So it's very, very heartbreaking. And slaves have always existed. There are people who are seen as inferior. This concept has existed forever. Before we learned about black slaves, this has always been a thing where superior people are okay, I need inferior people to do the work for me without compensation. That's not going to work.
Most definitely.
It's heavy, but it really gives you a different point of view.
Okay.
And allows you to be sympathetic and appreciative of what has happened and that we are in a better space.
Okay.
And another thing I'm very, very irritated about with the Black community, we are the first ones to make a slavery joke.
Yeah, that.
Why? And we stand on their shoulders. They have suffered everything to get us where we are. The freedom that we hold, and even those within the past, like 50 years, like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all of those amazing people who have fought to get us to where we are. And, you know, the newer generations have just always joking and not, it's just like not cute.
No,
it's not cute. We're the first ones to make a slavery joke, and it's not something to laugh about because this actually happened to people. And if it was reversed, you wouldn't want someone laughing at your pain.
Right. Right. And this is just the space that, I don't know, we've gotten to that place in life to where everything just, let's laugh about it, you know.
Let's keep it light.
Yeah, let's keep it light. And we shouldn't be like that. I mean, it's still
not about everything.
We don't have to speak about slavery, but somebody had to pay the price to get us to where we are. And so it shouldn't be a laughing matter. But I have a question for you. So, you recently went to Uganda. And so,
Jumbo,
did you have the same experience with the Ugandan people, which are their own race, but they're still African descent? We're African American, they're just African descent. Did you have like that same experience that you have with Black Americans here? You know, we experience a lot of jealousy amongst each other here. And you said that the love was truly different.
Yeah. I'm so glad you brought that up. Yeah, I went to Uganda in July of 2024. We're now in September, almost October. So this was a few months ago. I'm actually re-recording my experience with Lori Zeller at the Elevate Inspire podcast.
Awesome.
And that's where I'm going to have the conversation about my experience in Uganda and just that whole thing. So tune into that. But to answer your question, it was even Ms. Bell, Elisa Bell. We both agree that it was an out-of-body experience, although at a point we were physically there.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like the mind can recall being there, but it doesn't feel real. You know how you can be like, oh, I just ate a burger, or that burger was bomb.
Mm-hmm.
And you remember that moment? I don't know how to explain it. But the Ugandan people, the most loving, welcoming, hospitable people you will ever meet. I've never been loved in such a way. You know how a mother just loves her baby so much. It was like more than that. It was amplified. It was like being touched or hugged by God. And I feel like his spirit dwells in their soil and in their minds, in their bodies, their way of life. It's a very manual life. We had a good workout, but they were more accepting than I've had experience with other Black Americans. And it's sad.
Very, very
it's sad. And I'm not saying that all Ugandan people are like the most loving and all that, but where we were, everyone was, welcoming, and they waved at you and smiled at you. They were just like, oh, hi. And the thing is, they saw us Black Americans, and, a lot of people may assume things about American people in general, but for the Ugandans to see us, it was just like they were just happy to see us there on their land. And that was enough. You might not understand that, but that was enough just to see us and just to see them. And although we came to serve them and it was a mission trip, we were served like tenfold. And that is not what we went there to do or what we were expecting, but it was that. It was great. I think about Uganda every day.
And
I really, really want to go back, and we will go back in 2026 to definitely deliver resources. Those people are amazing, loving, very intelligent. Okay.
Oh, they are.
Very intelligent and beautiful. I mean, beautifully dark. They even inspired me so much that I cut my hair like a Ugandan person.
Yeah, check out the previous episode.
I cut my hair because, and we can kind of jump into that, I wanted to dismantle the beauty standard that the world presses onto a female, a woman, that she should present herself in such a way that is appealing to your liking. It's not about you. And I'm not talking to you. I'm just talking,
In general.
in general. And they just really inspired me. And I've cut my hair a few times in my life, but this time it was a completely new skinning, and I live.
Oh, you think you just live? I live too. And
Yeah.
not just for hers, but if you check out the previous episode.
Yeah, we both had hair in those months. We had more hair in the last episode.
And we basically went through this
Yeah.
transformation
This
of just
peeling.
letting go of what doesn't serve. And as a young's experienced, I went to Nigeria last
You've
year.
been like 3 times?
Yes.
Yeah, 3 times.
And it has been a life-changing experience for me as well. And just how they embrace who they are. They don't even have some of the things that we have, but they're grateful, they're loving.
Yes.
And so when you go
They have
to
a lot
the
of
other-
gratitude.
They do. When you go to the other side of the world and you see just you're living in a different world, and just the gratitude, the gratefulness, the love, the hospitality,
Yes.
everything that we hardly receive here.
Yeah.
It's just like,
You got to pull teeth to get that stuff.
yeah, and you have to pull out your wallet just to get it here. But it was a given there. And so I'm with you. Us changing our hair, it wasn't about, hey, we wanted to be like them, but it's just about letting go of what doesn't serve. And the standard that we feel, I know personally, I feel like I have to live up to by being a Black woman. Certain way I have to wear my hair, certain way, I need to dress. I mean, we have so many standards that we have to let go of.
Right.
And we have to step into our own authentic self. And this is us being authentic right now.
Yes, sickening. Okay. This was so much from even my presentation I'm doing next month. A lot of this is like intertwined. Yes. Complete liberation.
Yes.
And the freedom, the liberation. If you truly understand the depth of liberation, you understand why. Because it's kind of like we hold the keys to our freedom. Like
We
you
do.
said, we put ourselves in this box with the victim mindset. You have the keys. Get the keys out, unlock the door.
Yes.
So, and that was, I think I waited a little, probably a month. Did I cut my hair?
Yeah.
Like a month after I got back. Anyway, I was just ready for something new. I had been anticipating to cut my hair, but it was, I waited subconsciously for the right time after I got back from Uganda, because they don't wear, not to say that they don't dress up and things like that, but natural beauty. I mean, raw, natural, authentic beauty. And that's one of my sayings. People who know me personally, natural beauty.
Yeah. It has to give.
I saw natural beauty in a whole different way. I was like, this is it. So, and that's why I did it.
Well, I love it.
Short hair is in. It's the new thing.
It is. Well, you define what your new thing is. And for me, I needed a change. And like I said, I've been to Nigeria multiple times. And if you have not, and if it comes up in your lifetime, the opportunity to go to Africa, please take the time or take the opportunity to go, just see it for yourself. It's not, everybody has their own way of seeing how Africa is. We've always been painted a picture, but we have to go see it for yourself. You have to go see it for yourself. It's just like
Pictures don't
anything
do
else.
justice. You have to go. And there's like over 50 different countries in Africa. There's so many places to go. I think my next place is probably Madagascar. I've always wanted to go there.
Okay.
So beautiful. So at this point, we are here to have the uncomfortable conversations that lead us to growth and healing. I think this whole experience for me has guided me towards a place of healing and empowerment to heal. Because if you don't have not the motivation, but the strength or the determination to heal and move yourself to a better place, you'll just stay there. So this has been very, very helpful for me. I hope it has been helpful in some way, inform you guys, inspire you guys, whatever. I just hope it's been useful, entertaining, tangible, something.
Yeah.
Okay. So we appreciate your time very, very much.
We do. We do. And so to end this off, I just want to take the time out to thank you guys for checking out our episode. And healing is essential. It's essential. You need to make sure that that is your number one priority, because you can't move forward in life. You will continue to stay stuck in this time in your life, and you don't understand how it's affecting you and everybody else that surrounds you.
I hate seeing that.
Yeah, it travels through time. So
get out of your way. Get out of your way.
Yes. So healing is essential. It needs to be your new love language. Everybody is talking about love language now.
Okay.
It needs to be your new love language.
Yes, yes. And it's a process. You'll never arrive to a place where like, oh, I'm completely healed and I'm whole.
Yeah.
The only way you can be whole in this world is with Jesus. But as far as like the actual feeling of whole, never going to happen. But as we move forward in healing, we'll feel more pleased with ourselves, happier. Don't you want to be happier, more content? You know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I love that. That was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. I want to challenge you guys, though. Hey, if you have any suggestions on taboo topics you would like for us to speak about, please reach out or comment. And we most definitely, will try to get it worked into one of our future episodes.
Yeah. We have Instagram and we have an email. Again, communicate with us. We are so happy that I think we have almost 20 subscribers. So we appreciate you guys so, so much. All the love and blessings to you.
All right.
So our agenda is still to elevate, educate our society. So please share your thoughts, like and share this. Yes. If you want more taboo topics.
Yes.
So until next time, stay sweet.